Hello, it's Rachel and Ariana, and today I wanted to review for you the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation, specifically the Reformulated Foundation. So if you're somebody who has watched any of my previous videos at all, you'll see that this foundation has come up a lot in my videos, especially any makeup tutorials, or I don't want to say tutorial, I say that, use that word loosely, but any makeup videos that I have done, because I have loved this foundation for 8 long years. But that is before they reformulated it. So when I say that I loved this foundation for 8 years, I mean this one. This is the packaging of the old Teint Idole Ultra Wear 24-hour foundation here. And this is the packaging now. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this has more of a gold look to the packaging. They have Lancome down the side here, where the old packaging was silver and it didn't really have Lancome written down the side of the packaging. So the point of today's random review is to let you know what I really think about this foundation and if it's worth spending your money on. So to get to the point, no. I do not like this foundation. I do not like the reformulation of it. And in fact, it's extremely disappointing. So compared to the past, this foundation, the reason why I wore this foundation for so many years and loved it so much is, to me, it was almost perfection, at least for my skin. So it had a creamy, thick consistency. I could always use a beauty blender with it. That's my preferred method for blending out my makeup, and I'll tell you why, because I think it's important. I love to use a beauty blender or some kind of beauty sponge when blending out my makeup for 2 reasons. One, I don't like to tug or pull on my skin, especially being over 40. Or even if you're not even over 40, why tug or pull on the skin? I feel like a brush does that. Now, I know many people would disagree with me on that, but it does. It's still giving some sort of pull and tugging to the skin when you're swiping something across your face as opposed to bouncing something all over the face. Secondly, the reason why I loved using a beauty blender, or I love using a beauty blender, is it doesn't cause micro exfoliation. So I use tretinoin, and I've been using tretinoin for quite a while now, but I still pill as as time goes on. I start upgrading the dosage amount, and I went from 0 to a 0.025 to a 0.05, and so I'm consistently in that peeling process. And when I use a beauty blender, it doesn't do that micro exfoliation as if you were to swipe something across your face like a brush or or your fingers. And I know I said there was 2 reasons, but actually there's 3. And the third reason why I love to use a beauty blender when I'm blending out my makeup is because when I use a brush, anytime it's going to streak, there's streaks. You may not be able to see it when you're looking into a regular mirror, but if you look into a magnifying mirror, which I always do when I do my makeup because I want my makeup to look seamless into the skin, I will flip my makeup over, or not my makeup, flip over my mirror, look in the magnification side, and I will always see the streaks. Beauty blender never happens. So I know that's really long-winded, and I do tend to be long-winded in my videos, but with that being said, the reason why I mentioned the beauty blender is because I would use the beauty blender with this. It was perfect. It would blend out my makeup. It was thick and creamy enough where it could sit on the skin for a while, as I'm blending it out, and it would just blend beautifully. It wouldn't matter if it took me a little bit longer to get to some of the foundation over here, fine. It didn't matter. It would still blend out beautifully. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is this formulation, that does not happen at all. This formulation is the exact opposite of what this was. So this would blend out beautifully, and then it would dry down to a matte. So even though it was thick and creamy when you first applied it, it was the perfect amount of thick and creamy so that you could blend it all over your face, and it would look beautiful and flawless, and then it would dry down to a matte. Like matte, and I mean truly dry down to a matte, where matte to the touch, dry to the touch on your skin, at least for me. This does not do that at all. What this does is it's runny and it's powdery. So when this is on your face, you have to work very, very fast, because with a beauty blender, if I'm using a beauty blender, this dries down so fast. All the beauty blender does is pick up a dot, because I like to dot the foundation on my face. It will pick up that dot, and then it will put another dot, and then another dot, and then another dot all over my face, because it's already starting to dry down. So it's extremely hard to work with. So as a way to try to combat that, I would just work in sections. Okay, so let's put some on my forehead and blend that out. But then again, as it blends out, it doesn't blend beautifully with a beauty blender. It goes on splotchy, and it clings to every single dry patch on my face. So with that being said, it's taking way more time to do my makeup application in the morning with the new formulation, because I have to just start do my forehead, then I need to do this cheek and that cheek, then my nose and around my mouth, and so on. So it's just not, to me, that's, I want to go fast in the morning and get my makeup on. I don't want to be, you know, spending forever doing sectioning my face, because it ends up drying down so quickly. And this, yes, it's a matte. It will dry down to a matte like the old formulation, except again, it has more of a powdery feel to it, and it starts to pull up off the skin and when I apply my bronzer or my blush. And what do I mean by that? The old formulation never pulled up off the skin. So whenever I would, you know, when it would finally dry down and set, because whenever I would do my makeup, I would do my eyes next, let it dry down to a matte, and then I would apply my powder or powder bronzer, powder blush, and I would be rubbing it in, and it would not move. It was there to stay. This you can't do that with. You have to pat in your bronzer. Well, if you're patting in a powder bronzer, it looks weird. You have to blend it. It doesn't make sense to pat it in. I'm not using cream blender or cream bronzers or cream blushes at the moment. Not that I'm not open to it, but I just don't, and I haven't. So this will just come right off, because it dries down to a matte, but it dries down to a powdery matte that clings to every dry speck on your face, as well as going into the pores of your face. So that's my very honest review of this. And as I said, you know, it could be because I'm extremely biased, because I was a long time wearer of this. I wore this for 8 years every day and loved it, and this is the exact opposite. So to also let you know as well, if you are somebody who is wanting to or thinking about using this foundation and you don't want to spend the money, $57 or $56 that it costs now for it, I would just get this, which is the L'Oreal True Match foundation. This foundation is a dupe for this, except this foundation is way, way better, okay? And for a fraction of the cost. This blends better, this goes on smoother, and it even looks better than this foundation. So I think it's partly because Lancome and L'Oreal are one and the same. That could be why. But they're definitely, this definitely is a dupe, but I would say a better dupe in terms of save your money. I wouldn't waste my money on this. Now, like I said, this is a very honest review. I feel like you know, anytime I do one of my random reviews, it is honest because I've used it. So I absolutely do not like the new reformulation. Save your money. Go with another foundation, especially if you're somebody who's in your 40s and you want to splurge on a foundation. I don't think this is it. The old formulation, it was perfect. I don't know why they decided to change it. But with that being said, I'm curious. I'm sorry, putting my foundation away. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on if you are somebody who, like me, was a long time wearer of the foundation and saw the reformulation. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me or do you not agree with me? Maybe some of you are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I love the reformulation and it's amazing. I know I'm like really coming for the new reformulation, but I personally just think it's awful. And I would also love to hear from some of you that have other foundation suggestions, and I really mean that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I loved this foundation, okay? The problem is I can't really wear this one that I have because it's really light. So I guess I'm gonna try to mix it into the new one and try to get the color match a bit better. But anyway, with that being said, just let me know if there's any other foundations, and the price really doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm willing to pay $60 on a good foundation if I look good and I love it and I put it on and it works for me. The price isn't, you know, a problem for me. Like, I'm willing to pay that, but the foundation better be good for that price. So I'm just curious what any of you think, what foundations are out there. I'm currently wearing the Dior Forever Matte Foundation. I got a sample of it to see if I liked it. To be honest, I'm not in love with it. I don't really like it. I know that's another one that the over 40 beauty community says is a great foundation for mature skin. I personally don't like it. I don't, you know, obviously I'm in my late 40s now. Maybe my skin's going through some changes because of that, but I don't really care for the Dior Forever Matte Foundation either. So if you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comment box. I'm willing to try anything until I can finally settle on a foundation that is like this, okay? And if you're somebody who knows how that reformulation was, how it, you know, how it blended out, how it, you know, felt on the skin, please, you know, send me in the direction of that foundation. I am definitely willing to give it a try. And like I said, it could be drugstore, it could be high-end, just I'm open to any suggestions. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this random review, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.